intelligence that somebody had wanted to end his life to stop him from, announcing the results. So we sat together, the pastors prayed, and I hugged my dad, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said to him, you don't even need to say anything, because I know you're going to stand for the truth. I know you're going to stand for Kenyans. I said to him, in 2017, I was selfish. I asked you to resign for me. But in 2020, this for you. I know you need to do it for the country. You need to do it for the country. So we looked at each other without really saying much, but knowing that might have been the last time we would have seen each other. I had never seen my dad cry. My dad shed a tear. So I said bye to him, and I said, whatever it is, we will stand by you. And I hugged him, and I said, you go do your thing. I handed him over his speech, which, by the way, I used to assist him a lot with drafting speeches. He used to trust us as a family also. Emmanuel would assist him with IT stuff as well. So the speech I'd drafted with him, I handed it over to him. He said, it's a great speech. So all the best. Whatever happens, happens, but we are proud of you either way. He didn't read the speech, by the way, because there was so much chaos at Bomas. Whatever happens, happens, but we are proud of you either way. He didn't read the speech, by the way, because there was so much chaos at Bomas. But the speech he made was so impactful. He actually came home and he said, he didn't even remember what he said. He actually did not, because it was in a moment that was him. That was him in his moment. It was such an impactful speech. He came home, he didn't remember what he said. He took off his shoes. He was actually bleeding. He didn't even know he was bleeding. Like, this was just my dad. Get the work done. He didn't even know he was bleeding. Like, this was just my dad. Get the work done, which he got done. Anything.